Welcome to How to Tune a Viola. Pretty much like tuning a violin and a cello, except different strings. Well, same strings as a cello, different octave. So, let's see. The odds are that your viola is mostly in tune, and if it's a little out of tune, the odds are that it's a little flat. And what that means is that the string has come loose a little bit. That happens because strings don't get tighter on their own unless you're adding force to them. So most of the time, they loosen because it's a fight against physics. So that means that most of the time what you can do is just start with the fine tuners. And I'm going to be using a snark to tune because this is the world's easiest tuner, I think. Another really good one, if you have a smartphone and don't have time to get a snark, is called Guitar Tuna, and it's spelled like the tuna fish, T-U-N-A. And you can get that as an app for smartphones, and when you get it, even though it's called Guitar Tuna, there's usually options for tuning other instruments, and I think viola is one of them. So let's start with this. I'm going to start with the A string and just show you what this does. I've turned it on, and you can see that the A string is registering just a little bit flat, and that is what it means with the little red to the left. So I'm going to take the fine tuner, and I'm going to turn it clockwise. So imagine 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, moving in a circle like that. I'm going to move that direction. And I don't usually have to do it very much. I'm going to pluck it and turn it. And now you can see that it's red and blue. What kind of greenish blue, teal? A little bit more. And now when I pluck it, it's mostly in the right spot. It's showing a little yellow, which means a little bit too sharp. And usually what you can do is just stretch the string a little bit, which is going to happen anyway when you're playing it, and especially if you're using the bow and pushing down on it, it's going to vibrate and stretch the string out a little bit. So I can give it a stretch, and that's enough to get it right in the perfect spot. See? Okay, now let's do the D string. My D string is also just a little flat, so I'm going to go to the D string fine tuner and then turn it a little clockwise. You could hear the change because I was plucking it while I was turning it. And now it says it's in just the right spot. But in the same way that, it says it's a little bit sharp. I was going to say anyway, even if it's in the right spot, the strings have a tendency to get a little stuck because they have this very fine wind, and it applies, they just have a tendency to catch and not pull all the way into the right spot, either at this piece, which is called the nut, or down here where it's rubbing across the bridge. And so if you give it a stretch, it loosens it from those spots. And now that I just give it a little stretch, you can see, wait, hold on a second, it's registering the G. Yeah, just the right spot. Good, and now I'm going to go down to the next string, which is called G. And that one says it's just fine. And now I'm on the C string. And that one is a few degrees south, or a few percent south, or flat. So I'm going to tighten it. And now it's in the right spot. Give it a little stretch. I stretched it and now it's a little flat again. And now it's in tune. Now if yours was more extremely out of tune, I'll give you an example of how we do that. So I'm going to take the A string. Whoa, and now it's completely wrong. What I like to do if your string is really far off is loosen it to the point where the string is not really able to even make sound. See? And if we all start there, then we can give a very careful tuning all the way up, and we have to do very slow turns with the pegs. Now, if you don't have to use the pegs, then just stop the video right here and you're done. But if you find yourself in need of having to tune with a peg, this is what you have to do. The peg is an old technology. It only works when you're pushing into the peg box and turning. Otherwise, what happens is it gets tight, and you think, oh, I've got it, so it's making the right sound, and then you let go, and then it comes loose. So if you're pushing in while you do that, it should stay put wherever you decide to drop it. Like that. So let's start from very loose. And notice I didn't even have to do one full turn around. I just did from here to here is enough to get it into the right spot. If you were to do a full turn, you would absolutely break the string. In fact, if I gave another half turn or another quarter turn, I'm pretty sure that string would break. So we're going to go very, very slowly, like this. But it's not making any sound right now. I'm starting to get some low sounds. I'm turning it super, super slowly while pushing into the peg box. I'm at G, G sharp, and there's A. And I wasn't pressing in hard enough, so it kind of came loose. I'm pressing it harder now. And there it is. And I bet I could push it in harder. I know, just from experience, that I could push it in more. There we go. Now I'm at A again. And then I'm going to loosen it just a little bit with the fine tuner. Actually, I'll try stretching it first. And that was enough. There we go. And that's how you tune with a peg. If you have any questions, leave a comment in the comment section. That's kind of like below all of these posts. And I'll be happy to help. Or, you guys can call me or send me a text message and say, I don't know what to do. Or I broke a string. There's a separate video for that. Anyway, so I hope it worked out okay though, and I'll see you guys later. Good job.